Right. So in 1984, Congress increased the legal drinking age from 18 to 21. Why did they choose 21? It's simple. 21 saves lives. Yes, cliche, but statistics collected by Mothers Against Drunk Driving, are also known as MADD, say that in 1982, 60% of fatalities were alcohol-related. And then in 2005, it went down 21% to 39% of fatalities were caused by alcohol. These fatalities are not just drinking and driving, but also overconsumption without the proper medical care. 1 in every 5 teens has known someone under the age of 21 who has been killed by some consequence of alcohol consumption. Over 17,000 lives have been saved in the last 28 years. When the government set the age, they made all states abide by the law, and if they refused to, they sacrificed 10% of their highway funds. Why is this such an issue for people to understand? It's saving lives. One of the reasons why people have an issue with the drinking age being 21 is they say, if you can risk your life for the country, you can drink a beer. If you're willing to risk your life for the country, you are allowed to consume alcohol. However, studies have shown that if you do consume alcohol between the age of 18 to 21, 90% of the time it's binge drinking. When a person consumes alcohol, the obvious side effects are blurred vision, stumbling, slowed reaction time, poor decision making, and most of the time that leads to the fatalities, such as drunk driving or just leaving a friend who is overly intoxicated. And they say that the brain is not fully developed until at least the age of 25. The main parts that are affected are the cerebral cortex, which is the top of your head, and that's your senses, so your sense of like your vision, and your central nervous system, which slows your reaction time. So when you're drinking and driving, you can't react to stoplights as fast or other cars turning in front of you. And then the frontal lobe, which is like your self-control, which is knowing when to stop or when to not get in the car and drive. And then the cerebellum, which controls your coordinations and your thoughts and decisions, which cause like your ability to drive or your ability to know that to help somebody else if they've overly or drank way too much. Another study shows that if a person waits until he or she is of age to start drinking, they're less likely to develop a drinking problem, such as alcoholism. Alcoholism is an alcohol dependency disease that can be passed down from generation to generation. Many cases of alcoholism starts when a person is casually drinking when they're not legally allowed. The habit generally starts in their college career. Alcoholism can lead to many health problems in the future, such as liver disease and kidney failure. These consequences of consuming alcohol in college are usually a lower GPA, a higher dropout rate, less time to focus on your studies, and which can eventually lead to lower paying jobs and a less successful career. If lives are being saved, not only from the death but disease, is that not enough? How many people need to be killed before we realize that the drinking age is exactly where it should be?
All right, well, I'm seeing some of the same trends here. You've got a lot of information, and I think that it needs a lot more structure. I'm kind of picking out some of the structure that you've got here, but I'm having to impose it. It saves lives, it leads to binge drinking, the brain doesn't develop correctly, reaction times are problematic, it leads to alcoholism, it leads to problems in college. You've got too many claims there, and you need to have those declarative sentences as part of the argument also, and I'm not always hearing those declarative sentences. I guess the closest I can come to figuring out what your proposition here is that the current drinking age saves lives. If that's the claim, then it ought to be explicitly stated, and you ought to come back to it at the end of the speech again. I think it was a little bit clear at the end of the speech that that's what you're saying, that this is the right age. We have it at the right age because it saves lives. That should be explicit from the beginning. There's no preview, like I said, of the supporting structure. And internally, I can pick out a structure, but I think I'm having to work too hard at that. You don't want your audience to have to work that hard while you're speaking, or while they're listening, I should say. You need to lead them along on that a lot more. On the information, some of it's cited. You did cite MAD, and there were a couple of other source citations that you gave. There was some statistical information that you presented. That seemed to be the strongest area that you had information in. The stuff, all about the stuff about the brain, that sounds like it's interesting information. Where does it come from, and how does it integrate into the age issue? Structuring this probably needs to be, like I said, fixed a little bit. I know we had a little bit of a problem because you weren't able to get your outline on Monday, and the advice that I gave you probably didn't come in as quickly as it would have been useful for you to fix a couple of these things. And that's really the main issue here, is that your argument is all it's all on the same issue, but it's not structured in a way that makes it very clear, and the language needs to be clear also. All right, thank you.